Hi, and welcome to Astro Bites for Thursday, the 3rd of October, 2024. So, let's have a little look at today's astrology. And remember, it's not going to be that different from yesterday with the solar eclipse, new moon. So we are still very much in that energy. And then after I've had a brief look at some of the major aspects again, I will give you the word of the day. So let's just remind you and underline it in red crayon that Mars is still squaring the position of the new moon solar eclipse, Lilith, and I'll come to that in a minute, and Mercury and the moon today. So let's unpack this. We've got the moon at 16 degrees of Libra. So that is exactly just for an hour or two squaring Mars. The moon is the people. This is people getting pretty fed up. This could be people, actually starting to turn on their respective governments. We're getting to that point where Pluto is going to turn direct. And once Pluto does, what is Pluto going to drag down with it? Because it's not finished with Capricorn. And anything that resists the transformative powers of Pluto will just be dispensed with. So let's just have a look at this Libra energy. We've still got the grand water trine. That's Venus and Mars trining both Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So Mars is in Cancer and Venus is in Scorpio. Now, Mercury and the new moon from yesterday are also making a trine to Jupiter. It's a bit wide, but Jupiter is also about to go retrograde. So there's a kind of slowing down. Jupiter is putting the brakes on. Jupiter expands, remember. Jupiter is in Gemini. Jupiter has been getting our thinking mechanisms working overtime. Now, I want to talk about this energy in Libra, the moon. The people are getting restless. The people do not like what is happening. The people are rebelling against the fact that freedoms are being restricted. And Mercury conjunct Lilith conjunct the Sun is talking about the need for communication and the facing of difficult shadow problems. Lilith here, I feel, represents the feminine shadow, that dark kind of divine feminine shadow that lies within man. And this is in by no means a criticism of the male of our species. It's just looking at the psychology, the psychological makeup of the masculine, because man ignores his inner feminine and his shadow at his own cost. This is when ego gets in the way. Ego steps in and creates the narcissism, the hunger for power, the determination to be right against all odds, the determination to win. The divine feminine gets kind of squashed and strangled and can only fade into nothingness like an echo, fading away down a cavern. So tough talks, I suspect, will be taking place today. Thank goodness all this energy is in Libra, because at least Libra is about looking at both sides of a situation. So if this is on a personal level, then this is cool, this is great. This means you can sit down rationally and say, let's look at this from both perspectives. Let's see if we can find some middle ground that will work for both of us. Because, you know, the scales don't have to be all one way or all the other. This is about finding the balance. And so the Sun conjunct Lilith, the Sun is the masculine. The Sun is our soul. It's the beating heart. It's the DNA of our solar system. It's conjunct Lilith. Lilith is that dark, dark, divine feminine shadow. The contrast is huge. And this is saying, if the balance can't be found in the masculine, in our world leaders, to find the positive feminine within that has compassion and mercy and empathy, that has nurturing and care, then we are indeed lost. Shall I go on to the word for the day? I think better. Getting very dramatic again. Well, honestly, the energy at the moment is so dramatic. And so the word for the day is really actually quite probably on point. It's judgment. And I think it was recommended or suggested by one of you. And so it's about looking at judgment in terms of criticism and caution. And the caution, of course, of judging others. So Wayne Dyer says, judging a person does not define who they are. It defines who you are. And Earl Nightingale says, when you judge another, you do not define them. You define yourself. And then it goes on to say that it is easy to judge, but it's much more difficult to understand. Because with judging, we separate. But if we have mutual understanding and respect and active listening, we grow. And then there's a section here on self-judgment, which gives us an anonymous quote, which is, "Be careful how you judge others, for it may be that you are merely judging yourself." Mother Teresa said, if you judge people, you have no time to love them. Harold Nicholson said, we're all inclined to judge ourselves by our ideals and others by their acts. You know, we all have a different set of rules. And you could say that on one level, we have no right to judge others. We do judge others, we judge ourselves. But where is diversity and where is our ability to embrace differences and just say, that may be how you feel. I feel different, but that's okay. I see things differently from you, and agree to differ. There's another one here that says, don't worry about being judged by others, because at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is your own. There's another anonymous quote here. The world is quick to judge, but slow to understand. Now that's true. And you cannot judge what you don't understand. seek to understand first. And how often, with social media, do we leap in and judge with only this much information, this much evidence? We don't know. You know, there's a saying, isn't there? We never know what goes on behind closed doors. We never know what people are like in private, or what couples are like in private. So, you know, my personal take is that I don't feel I have a right to judge. If people give me evidence of the positives and the negatives, I can come to some kind of fair, kind of Libran assessment. But I personally am not comfortable with being a judge. It's not something I would have chosen as a career. Someone born under the sign of Libra or Scorpio may want to be a judge. Even Capricorn would probably make a good judge. Lastly, we've got Voltaire, who says, judge a man by his questions rather than by his answers. Interesting, that one. And another anonymous one is, a man is not judged by his mistakes, but by how he deals with them. And another anonymous one, judgment without compassion is tyranny. So these are all addressing aspects of judgment, being judgmental, judged by others, self-judgment. But also we could judge others kindly or with empathy. That would be a good place to start. So, on that note, thank you so much for joining me for our Astro Bite of the day. And remember to subscribe, like and share and all those wonderful things. And thank you for all your lovely comments. I kind of sit down about twice a week and go back and go through all the comments and read them and comment and like and all that stuff. Because it takes a bit of time, which is wonderful because it means you all feel you have something to say. And you know what? I so value that. I so value that. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And thank you for the support you give me. So on that note, I will say bye for now, and I'll see you tomorrow with yet another Astro Bite. Bye for now.